Well,
So
let's
glad to
get
have you with
started.
us, Susanna.
Let's get started, everybody. I want to make sure we honor everybody's time, and we may have a few more jump in, but my name is Matt Foley. I'm the assistant head of enrollment here at Pulaski Academy, and so thrilled to have everybody on this morning. This is our lower school virtual open house. We started doing these back during COVID times, really as just kind of a way to make sure we connected with families. And we quickly found out that this was a really hot way to do open house events. And so we decided, hey, we're going to stick with these and do these. One of the things we've talked about since then is really that we feel like these virtual events, while they're really so easily accessible and great for you guys to be at home or at work and to access this, we really feel like this is kind of in a way, is kind of the appetizer towards the meal, which is the actual on-campus tour. So I just want to say you're not going to necessarily hear and see everything somewhat intentionally, because we really want you to come on campus and experience that firsthand. So I'll be talking a little bit more about that at the end of the open house. But this is just an opportunity for you to get to see a little bit more about our first, second, third, and fourth grade. And again, really, we'd like for you, if you haven't come on campus, to come and tour and to see that firsthand. And there's almost all of the campus visits that we do, 99% of our prospective families will say, there was a feel or just a sense they got when they actually came on campus that they didn't have in a virtual event. So we really know that's important. So we'll talk a little bit more about that, but I want to welcome everybody, and so excited to have you guys on. We like to keep these events intentionally small, mainly because we know this is an opportunity for you to get to know us, but also for us to really get to know you. And that relationship, that connectedness, is a really important part of the journey for you, but also for us. And we want you to feel like that we want to know you well and that we value that relationship. So what I want to do, since we've got a small group, if everybody is okay with this, don't want to put anybody on the spot, but if you would, unmute your phone or your computer and just say your first and last name, where you're from, if you're from the Little Rock area, if you're out of state, and what grade or grades you are interested in. So say your first and last name, where you're from, what grades you're interested in. So I won't pick on anybody. If somebody wants to go first, I'll open it up. Unless I may have to. Anna, I was going to say Anna, you're first on my on my screen. So if you'd like to go right ahead.
Okay, hi, I'm Ana. I'm Ana Terrazas. Well, I'm from Mexico, but my family is from here, from the United States. We live in Arkansas 1 year ago, but we moved to St. Louis, Missouri in the middle of the pandemic. But the situation here is we move again to Little Rock next year, and we want to go to Pulaski Academy. And I have two kids. One is in third grade, Regina, and the other one is in fourth grade, Sebastian. And the next year is in, well, I hope that Regina is in fourth grade and Sebastian is in fifth grade. And that is my expectations until now.
Good. Well, thank you, Anna. Welcome. So glad you're here in Little Rock, and I'll have to brush up on my Spanish a little bit so we can chat some. But so glad you're on this morning. It's good to see, put your name and face together. So welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Susanna, if you since you're next on my screen, if you'd like to share first name, last name, where you're from, and what grades you're interested in.
Hi, Susanna Moldavenu. I'm in Memphis right now, and we are looking at second and pre-K 4.
Great, nice to see you, Susanna. Glad you're on with us. Thanks. Laura, can you hear us? Or I don't know if you.
Yes, I can hear you now.
Good. Well, welcome.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Laura Marcel. I'm actually originally from Little Rock. I'm a PA grad, class of '96, and I am possibly going to move back to Little Rock probably next year. So I was looking at grades pre-K 3. My daughter will be in the 3rd grade, and my son will be in the 5th grade.
Well, welcome back virtually, Laura. It's I can't wait for you to come see the campus because it looks a little bit different since '96.
Oh yeah, I've come home a couple times and driven through there, and I have classmates whose kids go there, so they were like, "Are you gonna come back to PS?" Like, more than likely. So we're in Atlanta. Well, we're in Marietta, Georgia right now, so we're just kind of working on getting things together so that we can relocate back. So hopefully, if that happens, that they'll definitely be there.
Awesome, I love it. Well, good to see you. Welcome back, Amanda. Amanda and I have had a chance to chat a little bit, and glad to see you on here, Amanda.
Hi. Hey, yeah, I'm Amanda Evans. We moved here summer of 2020, so can't believe it's been a year already. I was pregnant with my now 1-year-old, and this is Allie. She wanted to join today to see some. So we're looking at starting kindergarten at PA next year. We've already started applications, and we went and did a tour on campus. And I mean, he's right. With what we saw, it was, I don't know, after we left that morning, we toured a couple of private schools that day, and I loved the other ones too. But after we left PA, I told my husband, I was like, how can we not like consider this? I was like, I mean, to be honest, I'll be honest, I had already decided where she was going in my mind, and it wasn't PA. But then once I visited campus, I was like, I've got to start over in my decisions, and I can't not consider the school. So anyway, we're excited. And like I said, I just wanted to kind of see what, because she'll be starting in kindergarten. So I just kind of wanted to see the next, first, second, third, kind of what it was from there, because I haven't seen anything with those grades.
Awesome. Amanda, make sure you let everybody know we did not pay you to say that. That was but I may record you at some point because I love what you said, and it's so true that
well, Can I say one thing that
Sure.
really stood out to me was after I visited, the amount of emails and people that reached out to me, the current parents, the teachers, I'll say that does make a very big difference, because I did have questions and I did want to talk to, current parents and people that had been there. And so I've, through those people and other people that I've just talked to, from people at soccer to in my church to everywhere else that, all have been there, it definitely helped. But it is pretty cool that you guys have people, like I said, the teacher that I met at the STEM room sending me an email. I was like, wow, I talked to her for like 5 minutes, but then, she reached out and followed up. So that does make a difference.
Well, I really appreciate you saying that. And it, we know that this is a journey, and it's not a one-time decision, that there's a process you go through. So it is not difficult for us to get parents or teachers to reach out. They absolutely love to do it. And that just comes from being excited about being at PA and loving their job and what they do. And that's authentic. And we know that parents want to hear from those different parts of the community. So, and ultimately it's a community. And most parents would tell you that that's what they love about the school, that it really feels like a strong family, and we love that about the school. So thank you, Amanda. Appreciate that. Well, I wanted to jump in. I want to introduce. We've got a couple guests with us, and I'll introduce Greg and Noel in a minute. But Brock Dunn, our president and head of school, is on this morning, and excited to have Brock. Brock, I know you've got a busy schedule, so I won't keep you too long, but Brock is no stranger to the independent school world. He's got an extensive background in independent school leadership as a faculty member, associate dean, and prior to coming to PA, he was at the University Liggett School in Michigan, where he was associate head of school and head of upper school. And Brock, I've asked to come and just welcome everybody, and just share a little bit about about the mission and vision of PA. So Brock, appreciate you, man. Thank you for being on this morning.
It is a pleasure to be on. Thank you. Thanks for giving me a minute. Hi, everybody. As Matt said, my name is Brock, the new president here. You know, we're all talking about relocating and coming back to or whatever. I've been in Little Rock for what feels like a minute and what feels like a lifetime. It really, in just a short amount of time, feels like home. My family and I moved here in June. And it feels like home, so much so that it feels like I've been here my whole life. What a beautiful place. I started the day this morning by chance. I had an appointment cancel on me. So I used that time to walk campus and to just enjoy. And it's been said already a couple of times in this on the Zoom, but it should be said again, come visit. There is nothing more beautiful than to walk around this campus. I spent much of my morning already in our early childhood center and then a walk through our lower school, and to see the energy and the joy of the kids and the level of engagement and learning. It's just unmatched. To be, you know, there's this myth in independent school world that that a joyous experience can't come simultaneously with high level academics. And I would imagine we, more than anywhere on the planet, put that myth to rest. Because we are happy, we are deeply engaged, and we're a joyous place. On the other end, I know you're all families of younger children. On the other end of your experience, the last couple of weeks I've been having lunches with juniors and seniors just to hear about their experience. And one of my favorite things about PA is the way that they talk about their experience of place. They identify teachers by name and by impact. They love the way that they've been cared for, the way they've been nurtured, and the way that they've been challenged. And they are ready for those grand next steps to go off to college. And if you know, it's just a wonderful opportunity that I have pretty regularly to sit with kids and to hear their story. And if you could be in that room, you know, Amanda, you said that you had to change your mind once you experienced it. If you could be in my room for this lunch with these kids, it's a no-brainer. Another thing that I really love that you probably wouldn't get to see, but you'll see the sort of outcomes of, are the conversations going on campus. You know, we have a vision statement to be the leader in academic innovation. And in that, we use our professional development time when we sit together as educators to talk about the craft and the art of teaching. But those conversations have carried over into lunchrooms and you know, sidelines of the soccer game or sidelines of a football game, where people are just talking about what research says is the best way to engage learners in learning. What neuroscience teaches us about the brain that we didn't know when the rest of us went through school. And so we're exploring what are the best conditions for learning to optimize results, and having that conversation and having the courage to explore and look in the mirror to say, how can we, you know, we are great, but how can we always be exploring getting better? And I'm just sort of feeling blessed to be part of a community that has that sort of academic, intellectual engagement in the craft of teaching, coupled with a community where everybody feels known and loved and unconditionally supported. And that's sort of the perfect combination for school and schooling. So I appreciate a few minutes. Know that I'm here. I love a phone call. I love a visit. If you're on campus, come say hi. If you need to talk, give me a call. If you have any questions, let me know. And I hope to see you on campus real soon. Thanks for the time, Matt.
Brock, thank you so much. Appreciate you being on with us. And like Brock said, if you come and tour, I guarantee you he'll sit down and chat with you. And if he's not, he's typically not in his office. Like he said, it's either out in campus or in a classroom or a sporting event. He's always around. So appreciate you, Brock, and your leadership and your time with us this morning. I'm going to turn it over to, because I know everybody really wants to kind of see what's going on in the classroom. So I'm going to turn it over to Greg Ledbetter and Noel Brewster. And Greg, I'll let you guys let you introduce Noel and tell us where you are and what we're going to see this morning.
Well, welcome everybody. And again, thank you for taking your time to be with us this morning. I am Greg Ledbetter, Head of Enrollment and Financial Aid at PA. Actually started here when I was real young. I've been here for 28 years and my children have gone through starting at the 4-year-old and have graduated. So I've had the honor and the pleasure of sort of seeing the whole process work. They're actually out of college into their own world. And my daughter just got married. So I think I've got them both off of my payroll. So I'm kind of excited about that. But I believe in the school so much that now I have 2 grandchildren that are here as well. And so we're just pleased that you're with us and that we can give you this little taste. And again, hope that you come on campus. All the things that Brock talked about, the conversations in regard to our vision and even in our mission and how we're inspiring kids, that's something that certainly has been going on in the lower school. And that's because of Noel Brewster, the head of our lower school and our early childhood program. So Noel comes to us. We were just talking about it. She started in education when she was a wee baby about 30 years ago. And she had come from us 9 years ago or 10 years ago, I guess, from Hutchinson out of Memphis, where she was both in the classroom and leadership role there. So we've got with her tenure here, we've got a lot of her experience. A lot of progress has been made over the years. And so we're really excited about showing you the lower school. So a little bit about what we're going to do, Noel, and then we'll take off.
Hello, everyone. It's such a pleasure to get to spend this time with you. I look forward to getting to meet you in person. So I do encourage you after we chat today to feel free to come on campus and visit us. I, like Brock, am rarely in my office, but I will see you through the hallways, I'll guarantee you. And I also welcome you to feel free to give me a call. If you hear something that you want to know more about as we're talking, I'm happy to elaborate on that and share more with you about the experience here at PA. So right now we're in the Children's Library, which is kind of the hub of where our day begins and ends. And we just settle here all throughout the day because reading is such a core of what we do. And every area of every content area that we're learning in, we spend a lot of time investing in our readers. We are certainly research-based in everything we do, and we are constantly honing our best practices. We have regular daily and weekly conversations as faculty and staff about how we can continue to do better at what we already do really well. We're proud of it, but never so proud that we don't see room for improvement. So I think that speaks highly of our faculty, and we all are as good as what we deliver every day. So we're very proud of that. So we'll be going through a couple of classrooms, and I want you to see children engaged, and then I'll be narrating or talking about what they're doing there. We hope to see a 3rd grade and a 1st grade, and then we're also going to see some of our enrichment areas. We call them enrichment because they're outside of the home-based classroom. And we'll see humanities, which is a social studies class, but a combination of all humanities content areas, reading, writing, and then we do some technology in that space as well. And then we'll be seeing STEM, which is our science, mathematics, engineering, technology space, and that's a lot of fun. And then we'll move over and look at our art space and get to see some students in that engaged in there as well. So if we get moving and stay on schedule.
That's what I was going to say. That's our itinerary, and our hope is we make it all around.
We're going to get moving so you guys can see all of those.
That's
so
right.
We'll see you back in a few minutes.
Yep, we're gonna drop off Matt, and then we're gonna run up to the humanities lab.
Yes.
Right? Is that where we're going first?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
We'll see you in the
See you in a minute.
humanities lab.
Perfect. And just to let everybody know, I don't think we'll lose the connection, but if we get a little kind of a spotty place, we'll make sure we kind of move and correct that. So while they're moving up to humanities, I want to make sure we remember that if you've got a question, put that into the chat. We'll make sure to answer that. And I'll just mention about enrichment classes, what we call our integrated studies classes. The students will attend those on a weekly basis. They will have STEM, art, humanities. Humanities is kind of our our take on a social science lab. It's very hands-on. It's a great class. Spanish, PE, library, and then we have a counselor time where our counselor rotates to each class. So we'll talk more about those, but let's go to we'll go to Noel and Greg as they're actually walking down the hallway there, and looks like we're going to step into maybe into Paige Taylor's 3rd grade classroom. And I'm going to spotlight this video for everybody so you guys can kind of see it large screen.
We're already throwing a wrench in the spokes. We're changing things up already. So
bear with me. I'm going to be taking my mask on and off as we're engaging in the classroom with the students. I'll put it back on. So please let me know if you can't understand me, and I'll try to speak up. So we're going to go into the 3rd grade classroom first, just because they've moved on and I want to catch the students. We'll go back to humanities when she has students in just a few moments. 3rd grade is busy right now setting up for their continued study of Harry Potter. It's a big deal in 3rd grade. We use Harry Potter as an anchor text. And of course, this is the type of year where it's fun to read about Harry Potter. So there are many novels with Harry Potter as the main character, but we go through the first one, and again, it's a group study. And we use it as an anchor to explore the comprehension strategies. And then the students, while they're exploring those comprehension strategies in reading, they mimic those same strategies as a parallel in their writing, and they develop a narrative. And it's the best anchor text ever because, that author does a fantastic job of developing rich characters. So we like to do the very same when we write about our characters in our narratives. So we'll step in real quick so you can see what the 3rd grade classroom looks like.
Professor Flitwick just read him. Flaming Christmas puddings followed the turkey.
There's Miss Taylor.
Teeth on a silver sickle embedded in his slice. Harry watched Hagrid getting redder and redder in the face as he called for more wine, finally kissing Professor McGonagall on the cheek, who, to Harry's amazement, giggled and blushed, her top hat lopsided. When Harry finally left the table, he was laden down with a stack of things out of the crackers, including a pack of non-explodable luminous balloons, a grow-your-own warts kit, and his own new wizard chess set. The white mice had disappeared, and Harry had a nasty feeling they were going to end up as Mrs. Norris's Christmas dinner. Harry and the Weasleys spent a happy afternoon having a furious snowball fight on the grounds. Then, cold, wet, and gasping for breath, they returned to the fire in the Gryffindor common room, where Harry broke in his new chess set by losing spectacularly to Ron. He suspected he wouldn't have lost so badly if Percy hadn't tried to help him so much.
Okay.
After a meal of turkey sandwiches, crumpets, trifle, and Christmas cake, everyone felt too full and sleepy to do much before bed, except sit and watch Percy chase Fred and George all over Gryffindor Tower because they'd stolen his prefect badge. It had been Harry's best Christmas day ever. Something had been nagging.
Well, there's no better way to listen to Harry Potter than to do it with the full English accent. So they look forward to that every year. So it's a rich opportunity for us to have great discussions and develop wonderful narratives. As we were in the room, you may have seen some of the reference charts or anchor charts that Mrs. Taylor has developed with her students. We saw one about stamina. And I think in 3rd grade, that's a really rich word for us to develop with the students, because you often hear about students in 3rd grade taking on more. And it really is a time as 3rd graders when they really start developing their comprehension and writing skills, and they develop more stamina so that they produce richer projects in those areas. They're able to read meatier, longer text and get into more complex subjects in all of their content areas. In math, we use Math in Focus, And we start that in first grade, and we move vertically with that throughout middle school. And so you will have noticed, if you saw on the board and with some of the anchor or reference charts, that they are looking at, have been working with subtraction and doing multi-digit subtraction, borrowing, making trades. And so a lot of that, the kids come to us with a rich experience with honing those math facts. But we really continue working on those, and we hold our students accountable for mastering those so that we can move into multiplication soundly by second quarter, which is what they're preparing to do after Halloween. So that's an exciting time for the students to get to take on multiplication in a more formal way during third grade. So third grade is an opportunity. It's a grade where we start seeing the student develop as a more mature student, and it really gets to be fun by the end of the year because they're able to produce such a richer, more valuable product. And then we feel very proud of that as our fourth graders leave us and go into middle school, because that stamina continues to develop into a really rich product after fourth grade. So if at this point, I think we can walk back
into the humanities.
Walk into humanities, and we don't quite have a class yet, but we have a teacher.
Miss Carpenter.
So this is such a fun classroom. There's so much to see in this classroom. Miss Carpenter has done a phenomenal job, and her background, I think we're so lucky to have her. She is a gifted and talented certified teacher, and so she incorporates those gifted and talented standards into our humanities studies. And so in humanities, our students are studying all of the social studies standards that they would typically study in a lower school, elementary classroom. We decided to do it as a specialized classroom because really social studies is never a lone entity in itself. And we have the geography aspect, but then we also have just the mapping and all of the different skills that the kids take on, and social studies standards and just social skills as well are all part of that. So she does a fantastic job also integrating technology skills. And so we will often see the kids with their iPads out in here. We have a green wall. They will be filming and making movies with of each other so that they're getting to demonstrate the knowledge that they have already studied in some type of way that's interactive and fun. So kids need to do fun things. So
it also gives you gives our kids an opportunity in the classroom to spend more time on the math and the language arts.
Yeah. We focus just in the classroom on teaching math and all of the literacy aspects. So language arts, which are comprehension, vocabulary, the phonics, word study, writing, all of that goes on in the classroom. And then we come out of the classroom for humanities, which integrates into the technology field. And then also with STEM, and we're going to see that later, and then in the enrichment classes, and we'll talk about those in a few moments as well.
Yeah, and all of these
Miss Carpenter held
captain. And you mentioned Miss Carpenter's background and experience, and all of our enrichment teachers are certified and trained to teach those topics in this age level.
At this age level, and many in our more artistic areas of the content areas are even working artists in those areas.
Right.
So I think that makes them even more of a valuable contributor to what our kids are experiencing.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So what are you guys studying with your first graders right now?
First graders have been doing, they're learning about American symbols, the flag, the bald eagle. We made a bald eagle puppet. We just did a Kahoot today over flag etiquette. And
now, what's a Kahoot?
Oh, yeah,
Sorry.
I thought you said cuckoo. To be honest with you, I was thinking I'm cuckoo.
Kahoot is a fun quiz game that we do on the iPad. So it's just an app on the iPad, and the kids just go crazy for it. They love it, especially first grade because they've never done one before.
Oh,
So that's how we review a lot of the time. So last week we learned about the flag, we made a flag, and this week we reviewed about the flag and played our game.
that's awesome. Awesome. Okay.
So who do you have coming in next?
I would normally not have a class next, but it would be second grade.
Second grade's
Second.
coming in next.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what are they working on?
That's a good point.
They have just finishing up learning about the 7 continents and the 5 oceans, and then they have focused on Australia because each grade has a country that they focus on. Third grade, I heard you talking about Harry Potter. We are learning about England in third grade, and they are going to be creating a book about England on an app called Book Creator. So they'll be an author, and they like making their own book. They do the text, the pictures, everything.
Awesome.
And then fourth grade, they do the regions around the United States, and they are on the Southeast region right now. They're working on a Google Slides project. They're researching a state of their choice in the Southeast region. And then right now I'm getting ready to do a breakout next week as a treat because that is their absolute favorite thing.
You're going to lock them up or something? Or,
Right.
yeah.
Each table has a box, and they all have locks, and then they have clues that they have to solve to open the word lock, the number lock, the directional lock. It's really all about
cool.
teamwork.
It's like an escape room in a box.
It's an escape room in a box. Yes, they have 45 minutes. All the clues are about whatever topic we're studying about at the time. And they cheer and scream and holler when it's like a breakout box day. So,
That's awesome.
yeah, I always like to do that when it's like close to.
I hear all about it.
Yeah. It's really cool to be walking down the hallways and hear the kids laughing and engaged. And so a lot of fun going on around here too
Yes.
as well.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you, Miss Carpenter.
We didn't see students, but we got to talk to the teachers.
That's exactly
that
right.
was Great.
All right.
All right. So now we're going to go downstairs.
Okay.
And we're going to see the STEM classroom, the art classroom, and a first grade classroom.
Gotcha. Okay. All right, Matt, we're going to drop off for a second and we'll be right back.
Awesome. Good stuff. And I wanted to just mention as Noel was talking about reading, and I think one of the key things, and a lot of us will speak from personal experience. My kiddos are here at PA. They started in the 3s and they're now in the 8th grade and the 11th grade. But one of the areas that to me was most impressive, and I would bet we could all probably say the same, the area that my kids were much farther along than I was at their age was writing, research and writing. And in 5th grade, which is our middle school, they write a research paper for the first time. And I'm telling you, that 2nd, 3rd, and 4th grade process of reading those texts that build that vocabulary, sentence structure, learning how to outline, and as that builds up into 5th grade, it's unbelievable. Now, my junior, my daughter, has written several 10 to 15 page papers. That's no big deal to her. And I know when she goes to college, wherever she goes, that she's going to be prepared for that. So I loved in the lower school that the reading was emphasized in a way that builds into those research and writing skills. And PA has done a great job with that. I'm going to swing back to, because it looks like we're at the STEM hallway. So Greg and Noel, tell us where you guys are now.
Cave mat right now, because we are right outside the STEM classroom and the art classrooms across the way. So these two ladies get very creative together. So one of our grade levels is studying about animals and bats. Happens to be a feature right now. So Miss Carol told me one afternoon, she says, I'm ready to put up my bat cave. And is it okay? And I was like, well, of course. What lower school doesn't need a bat cave?
I'm glad you mentioned that. I wondered what that was.
So we're about to go into the STEM lab, and Miss Carol has 4th graders in, and they're studying the human body right now. I think today they're focusing particularly on the respiratory system. So you'll see them all over the classroom. It's a 2-room classroom, so we'll take some time to tour the classroom. Okay. It started as 1. And it got even better when we discovered that we didn't really want them to get messy where the technology was. So we had to expand the room, which was an awesome reason to expand our learning. So we have more technology now. We have more maker spaces in the classroom and more opportunity to get dirty over in the other classroom where we don't ruin our great technology resources. So we'll go in to see what the fourth graders are doing right now. Hello, Miss Carol. We have visitors coming to see what fourth grade is doing. And I said, I thought you were working on the respiratory system.
We are.
But it
We're
looks like the
labeling the
circulatory-
respiratory system right now.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
very
we were
important.
just looking at our pig lungs. So, yeah, these are our freeze-dried pig lungs that we got from
Pig
Atlanta.
lungs. Oh my.
Yeah. And so we were just talking about the bronchioles that we're labeling right here. Actually, these holes right here in the pig lung. Isn't that
Well,
cool?
it's just not every day you get to see a pig lung.
Right?
And every table has a pig lung.
They do. We are very fortunate. UMS donated a bunch of models, including like the heart. We're going to talk about that today as well. The plaque buildup on the arteries. So I give my, speech about healthy diet. And then our lung model where we can see the lungs inflate and deflate.
Oh gosh.
Isn't that cool?
Miss Carol loves all of her three-dimensional toys.
I do.
So
Hey, Jennifer.
you will not visit our STEM lab without getting to play with something every time you get to visit,
Right.
which, every good STEM lab should have.
That's
Lots
right.
of toys that are interesting. We will note some over in the corner where Miss Carol happens to be standing now, which are our robots.
Yeah, we're going to have a robotics day in December. We're going to get to problem solve with those as part of our computer science unit. Oh, did you hear that? Everybody's like,
Yes.
yeah. So they like the robots. We do programming not just a couple of days of the year, but we do programming at PA many days of the year. It is a part of our regular curriculum here. So programming actually begins in early childhood. It does. And continues all the way through lower school with lots of opportunities. You'll also notice our Lego wall, which the students get to do some engineering with.
yeah, and creating. all
And
kinds
then
of
we
new things.
have a creativity wall there. Miss Carol, what are you doing?
Oh,
with
yeah.
that?
These are golf tees, and so my little ones, it's helpful for the fine motor. So like for first grade, we work on that. For my older kids, they get to create and just design, things that have a real visual impact. But we're also towards the end of the year with our older students start working on more geometry and measurement. And so that this wall will come in handy for that as well. When we start talking about perpendicular and parallel lines, different types of angles, we use our geo boards over there for that as well, to learn about angles and symmetry, all that kind of stuff. We'll use that for that as well.
And can we walk into the other space?
You can.
Cool. I come in here and mess with this all the time.
Okay, so in this area,
Ooh.
That's Dr. Bones. She's
Dr.
ready
Bones.
She's ready for Halloween.
in this area, we have more maker space supplies so that they're readily available for the students. We have great space for our students to come in and build or create, experiment with. We have a place so that they can work on their electricity unit. So Miss Carol again is pretty resourceful about offering lots of spaces in her classroom for study and getting their hands on manipulative type of learning, which is important. It's crucial. This is an example of what our fourth graders build at the end of the year. They work collaboratively, which you will see a good deal in our program here at PA.
Yeah.
Not only in the regular classrooms, but in their enrichment areas. They will be working collaboratively in teams. That's a 21st century skill that we value and we encourage. So we like to give our students lots of practice with things that are important.
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
they get to create these marble runs, and they call them the roller coasters.
Yep.
And then, of course, after creating them, they get to put them on exhibit for everyone to watch. And we keep this one up because we still like to play with it on occasion. So
A lot of hands-on activity. in
yeah,
here
we
for
have
that
our story area. because every good study starts out with some type of story. So Miss Carol is master of many talents. She is a reading specialist. She is a science specialist. And so we are so fortunate to have her, and she has really helped me make this STEM experience a very special experience for PA. I think we were very satisfied to say we were the first elementary lower school in the area to have a STEM classroom. And she has just been absolutely phenomenal at being trendsetting, and what she continues to produce for our kids here in this area.
I love what you've done too, because you've brought STEAM into the early childhood. So now which has kind of pushed her to change her curriculum a little bit because of the experience they're getting in the 2.5s, 3s, 4s, and kindergarten.
Not only have we pushed this experience to change, which we like, because change is good and we learn to embrace that.
Love it.
Change keeps us fresh, and as all good scientists should be doing in every area, we should be looking for areas that we can improve life. And so this is an area that we certainly do that. We have someone here that is all about doing that and leading this content area and exploration all the way through middle school, where we push them to do some changing as well.
That's right.
So
that's awesome.
We like that. We like to know that we have to tweak our curriculum, because our kids are already so successful in areas that we've been teaching in. So.
And that's all by design too. It's just not organic. I will say, you guys, you have your teams doing a lot of planning. Everything's so intentional.
We talk daily and weekly. I meet with my teams every week, and we have academic curriculum conversations. We don't do faculty meetings at PA in lower school. We do productive curriculum, rich conversations. That's what we have on a regular basis here. So we're excited about what we do, and we want to do it better every day.
You do a great job.
Let's go see what you're doing in art.
Well, let's check. Matt, how are we doing on time? Do we have time? Maybe we should go to the first grade classroom.
I would say let's go to the first grade classroom. We're getting a little bit close to noon here.
Gotcha. It's hard. We love talking about the school so much.
We can't see art.
If we have time, we'll swing back by. How about that, Miss Noel? Or Miss Brewster? All right.
I didn't told you short we were coming.
I know. We might have to peek back in there while you're.
Okay, so she's going to get her children so we can.
Yeah.
And so this is a first grade classroom, so we don't have students. I'll take my mask off, and we can talk more about the setup here. So those of you that came and who have already had an opportunity to see early childhood would typically not see a desk setup like this. So when they come into lower school, that's when the students get an opportunity to have their own desk and space, and it's really a celebration. They love that. So they get to manage their own supplies, and they have their own supply box. So that's part of growing up and getting to be responsible and becoming independent learners, which is what we start encouraging in our first grade program. We moved to one teacher in first grade. We typically like to keep the class size at 20 or fewer. And you'll see lots of different setups for learning in this classroom. You have your collaborative opportunities here. Every child has their own desk, but yet they work in pods. We change those often so that they're not always working with the same partners. And then you see the teacher's desk, which is not your traditional teacher's desk, because it's a shared space where she works in small groups with students. We teach all 5 pillars of literacy to our students, and this is where the teacher works on guided reading. So this would be a comprehension aspect of their literacy learning. So she'll bring small groups of students over,
that's right.
And they will work on a targeted area of reading that is differentiated for that group of students. So our first graders don't read in a book that is just by design one that the whole class reads in. They read on level, and as their level changes, so do we. We offer them opportunities to grow through many levels of what we think and what is researched as being best for first graders to be reading at. So we know where those benchmarks are from beginning to end, And so it's our goal to let them experience those throughout the first grade
That's awesome.
year.
Yep. Again, a very targeted approach, very personalized, targeted approach.
Lots of examples of learning in this classroom, lots of anchor charts and reference charts. Those are up so students can refer back to them. These are opportunities that our students have had to learn about circle stories, comprehension skills. Again, in even first grade, as they're learning to read and they are learning to write in that same genre. So we are all working on developing a narrative in lower school. Even first graders develop their own narrative as they're reading rich fictional stories. So they'll be developing their own stories as authors as they study what great authors do in their own literature. So it's that whole parallel development of encoding, decoding, and reading as an author would write, and writing as a real author would do in the real world. In math, we are also working on Math and Focus. We're really proud of the Math and Focus curriculum. It's a Singapore math curriculum. Our teachers have all had superb training. We have trained with one of the developers internationally of the Math and Focus curriculum, the Singapore math curriculum. So we were thrilled about the experience to work with Dr. Van Haar. Our teachers have ongoing professional development in the area. The reason why we like the curriculum so very much is because it is literacy based. And so we feel like that's a rich parallel to everyday life, story, rich problems. Our students do learn typical algorithms like they would in traditional math. They learn to apply them to real life type of stories. But that all starts with the investigation using manipulatives. So they all have that concrete opportunity to play and explore with a manipulative to learn about a math standard. And then as they learn that, they gradually drop that manipulative and move to a more expedited way of demonstrating their knowledge by drawing pictures, so that we call it the pictorial phase. And then as they are learning more about math and whatever that standard is, they learn that, hey, I can even do this now without drawing the picture. So they gradually release that picture, that pictorial phase, and go to the symbolic phase, which is the abstract phase. And that's where they start using numbers to represent their mathematical thinking instead of the symbols or the pictures. So, oh, here comes kid. Here come our kids.
You've got my head spinning.
Okay.
Ms. Brewster, here comes our kids. I know we're running a little short of time, Matt.
First graders, guys.
We're
Sharing what you're doing every day with some people that want to know more about PA. So can you say hi? They're on the camera. Make sure you have your mask up, please, after you're done with your drink.
Well, Matt, I know we are running short of time, and so I know we want to give a few minutes for maybe some questions, but I think that we've kind of extended ourselves about as far as we can go.
And I really wanted to show you art, but they're not letting me because we're running out of time.
That's
another reason why you need to come on campus.
Well, I do want to open it up for anybody that has a question. We've got about 5 minutes here till we wrap up. If you have a question, feel free to chime in. If not, we'll certainly cover those, but I want to make sure that we answer any questions. Anybody have a question for Greg, Noel, myself? And again, if certainly want to make sure we answer those, and if you come for a tour, we'll definitely do that. I'm going to, as we just kind of close out here, I'm going to share my screen with everybody, and I want to make sure that everybody has the opportunity to set up a time to come and tour if you haven't. We have a website, pacampusvisits.com. is our campus tour site, and on there you'll be able to see available times on a calendar and register for those. And And then the second website there is our virtual admissions center, which is a great resource for ways that you can connect with the PA campus community. We've got our blog post on there, our podcast, videos. There's a whole bunch of great resources there to just kind of learn and hear and see more about Pulaski Academy. So I want to make sure I mention those two there. And I'm going to be sending out I'll send out an email this afternoon with a link, with those links, also information about curriculum and the course guide. So I'm going to send a couple of PDFs over to everybody. We've got one question here. This is a great question, actually, because with Noel being here. What language arts curriculum do we follow, and what foreign languages? I'll mention foreign language quickly. The students will attend a Spanish class in the lower school, and then as they move up in the middle and upper school, they have the chance to take Spanish, French, or Chinese. So those are our language offerings. But Noel, the question is, what language arts curriculum do we offer, or what do we use? I'm sorry, not offer. What do we use?
We don't. On.
Yeah, you are.
Can you hear me? Can
Matt?
you hear me, Matt?
We can hear you. You're good.
Oh, okay, sorry, I didn't know if I was on yet. We don't adopt a particular curriculum that's already pre-made in language arts. We have spent a lot of money that a lot of schools choose to spend on buying a canned or a pre-designed curriculum in language arts. The reason we don't do that is because what research tells us is that it needs to be a differentiated study. So what we've done is invested in good professional development for our teachers. We have developed a rich curriculum based on the expectations and standards of what every good reading program should have in it. But we also know that engagement is valuable with our students and reading things that students find interesting, real literature. So our students have choice, and they are guided carefully with their teacher as to what they read and for comprehension development. We do have a curriculum that we have purchased or that we've spent some money on training for our teachers in the phonics and the phonological areas of literacy, and we use the IMSE curriculum there, and that is to teach all of the word study piece, sight words, phonics, phonological studies, even in early childhood. And the reason we like that particular curriculum is because it is sensory based. You will often see it used for students who have learning disabilities, because it engages all of the sensory areas. Our students will tap or arm tap the sounds and the different segments of words to help them understand and learn that there are different sounds that go with different parts of words. And it's a rule-based curriculum. So it follows, again, all current research and educational standards. We're very careful to make sure that we're dotting our I's and crossing our T's because we have chosen not to adopt a curriculum. It's important to us to know that we meet the needs of our learners individually from the lowest to the highest, and that we don't pick a curriculum in reading that just hits the middle of that learning group. So we want to give all of our students an opportunity to grow and develop as they should developmentally in reading. So research tells us that they need to have proper engagement and proper choice in doing that. And of course, we don't forget that needs to come with great knowledge to our teachers. So that's where we've invested instead of buying that pre-made curriculum.
That's great. Great. Thank you, Noel. Appreciate you answering that. We are right at 12 o'clock, so I'm going to wrap it up. And again, you will be getting an email from me this afternoon. And if you've not toured, definitely want you to come tour. If you don't see a time that looks good call me, text me, email us. We'll find a time to tour. So Greg, Noel, thank you so much for spending time with us and showing us the lower school. And for everybody that's on this morning, thank you so much for being with us. We look forward to seeing you on campus very soon. So everybody have a great afternoon.